So as you all know now, I am a writer, and I have written many different things. And as a writer, I like to tell stories. And as a storyteller, I thought perhaps I would share with you a couple of little stories, or confessions of mine, if you will. Stay tuned to find out exactly what they are. Okay, here's a story that I think you might like. Dear Journal, back when I was in high school, I had a part-time job working in a local supermarket and drugstore. It was just a way to earn some cash and be out in the workforce a bit earlier in life. But what I didn't know was that I was about to walk into a nightmare of epic proportions. At this time in my life, my biggest hobby was photography, and when I applied for the job, I wanted to work in the photo lab. But of course, the evil employer, who seemed nice at first, had other plans for me. He made me a stock boy. Now this job was so horrible, and I regret ever taking it. Although I do have respect for those who can handle that job as long as they can. Yeah, he made me a stock boy. This job was so horrible, I regret ever taking it. The only reason that I stuck with it was because of the store discounts that they had offered, which I will admit were pretty impressive. As for my horrible boss, this guy expected me to wake up so early in the morning and start my shift before the store even opens, which includes fresh stock in all of the aisles and clean, mopped or swept floors, which will eventually get dirty again. And what's worse was that I wondered why I stuck it out as long as I did. This man had no heart, no soul, and definitely no remorse for anyone except for himself. He's always ridiculing me, expecting me to do things that others didn't want to do, expected me to settle in a dead-end job because according to him, this is all I will ever amount to. Now, I used to be a very patient man, but in all honesty, this job took away whatever patience I ever had. So much so that the mop I had in my hand one morning got thrown by me across the aisle, spilling the mop bucket full of water all over the floor. All of a sudden, my loser of a boss came around the corner, wondering what the hell was going on. Before he even had a chance to finish his sentence, he slipped and fell all over the wet floor. So I'm thinking to myself at this point that someone up there must love me. Originally, I had a plan to get back at him, but just when I was about to set it in motion, I realized that I didn't have to go through with the plan anymore. Spontaneity worked in my favor. But then, of course, my dickhead of a boss is on the floor in a mess and still has to turn around continuing to ridicule me. So at this point, I snapped and began to let him have it. I told him off, I called him out, and I made everyone around me know how abusive he truly was. And I ended off by telling him to take this job and shove it. I gracefully quit with my head held up high and my dignity intact. As I walked away, he told me that it wasn't over, but from where I stood, it was over. I took one last look at the past and I walked away, never looking back from then on out. And I have no regrets to this day leaving the worst job I ever had. That's all for now. Signing off, Joseph. How's that for a story?